These are the Nothing Ear A. $99 headphones that honestly sound more like $250 headphones, designed by a company you probably never heard of. So, are these the new value king for headphones? And if you're new here, my name is Tyler Price, and this is 24 Concepts. Right off the bat, the Nothing Ear A is a new budget-friendly headphone option from Nothing. If you're unfamiliar with Nothing, I don't blame you. They've only been around a few years, but all you need to know is that they put a large focus on product design and sustainability, giving their products a very unique feeling and consequently a very unique experience. The Ear A are no exception, as they come in this really clean-looking graphite color, though they do have a white and a very pretty yellow color along with hints of transparent components, which if you know me, you know I absolutely have been loving all the see-through tech recently. The earbuds themselves magnetically sit inside this clear charging case that uses USB-C and keeps your earbuds charged when they're not in use. Right off the bat, the first thing I notice with these is that the earbuds themselves sit in the case in sort of an unnatural way. When you take them out, you have to rotate each bud 180 degrees in order for it to be oriented in the right direction to actually fit into your ear. This also means you have to awkwardly rotate them again to get them back into the case, which I found to be a bit clumsy and unnatural, especially compared to something like the Airpods Pro, which more naturally slide in and out of the case. My guess to why that is because Nothing likely wanted to show off the design of the earbuds while they were in the case. Not particularly practical, but arguably more appealing to the eye, especially when they're just sitting on your desk. But then again, I'm not sure that really matters to most people, especially at this price point. Nonetheless, the magnets holding the earbuds in the case are strong enough to keep them from falling out with the lid open, but not so strong that you have to fight them to get them out. I never dropped them getting them out, and while it was a bit awkward to put them away, I eventually got used to it and never had issues with either bud not charging due to lack of contact with the case. Now, right out of the box, the Nothing Ear A will pair with both Android and iOS pretty seamlessly. I had no issue getting them paired with my iPhone 15 Pro Max. They function almost like AirPods in that once you open the case and take one of the earbuds out, they'll automatically connect to your phone every single time. I never had an issue with keeping them connected or getting them to connect when taking them out. Probably the most important part for a pair of headphones like these. Additionally, you can download the Nothing X app to customize the Ear A in a number of ways, but it's not required to get them to work, thankfully. However, the Nothing X app itself is surprisingly good on iOS. Just open the app, open the Ear A, and within a few seconds, the app will connect to the earbuds, showing you battery information as well as any updates you might have. Now, it is important to note that in order to update the Ear A, you will need the app. So I'd recommend you download it even if you don't plan to use it, but the occasional time to update them or check battery levels, which we'll talk more about in a bit. Right on the home page of the app, you'll see the buds, each battery, and then 4 controls at the bottom. One for the equalizer that, while simple, still gives you a ton of control over the sound profile of your Ear A, along with some presets. A controls section which lets you customize what squeezing the stems of the buds will do. So if you're familiar with AirPods, these work pretty similarly in that you can squeeze the stems to do different things like pause, play, seek forward or back, control the active noise canceling mode, and even add your own functions like activating the voice. One important thing to note is that the Ear A does support ChatGPT, but only on the Nothing phone. So if you're using these on an iPhone, then you're gonna miss out on that feature. But to be honest, I don't miss it at all, so I wouldn't worry too much about it. Next is your noise control. The Ear A have 3 noise canceling modes: off, transparency, and noise cancellation. Again, very similar to AirPods Pro. By default, they'll be set to transparency, but if you squeeze and hold the stem, you'll hear them switch into noise cancellation mode. Finally, you have a bass enhance feature. Personally, I didn't hear much of a difference with this on or off, or even between the different levels, but this will likely highly depend on the kind of music you like to listen to. I personally like electronic music, which is notoriously bassy as it is, so your mileage may vary. And finally, in the top right, you can configure even more settings like in-ear detection, which will pause and play your music when you remove or insert the earbuds, again, like AirPods. A low lag mode, which is more for gaming, but reduces audio latency, commonly found on Bluetooth headphones. Dual connection, which is pretty sweet if you want to pair these with up to 2 devices at once. An ear tip fitment test, which will play a tone to determine if the earbuds are seared properly to your ears. And finally, a Find My Earbuds feature, which basically just plays a loud tone out of the earbuds so you can locate them within hearing distance. Now, this isn't the same as Find My on iPhone, but still useful if you happen to misplace them within your room or house or just need to figure out where you last left them. All in all, I found the Nothing X app to be a great companion to the Ear A that offered a ton of creature comforts you'd find on much more expensive headphones. Moving on to the battery. The battery on these are outstanding. While I didn't specifically record how many hours they'll run for, I can tell you that in the real world, I never found myself needing to charge them. They were always charged and ready to go when I needed them. And what's wild is that I literally haven't charged the case since I bought these back in the beginning of May. Literally over a month I've had these and not once needed to charge them. Now, this will obviously heavily vary based on how much you use them. I often use them when flying or traveling as well as around the house or while going for a walk outside and never had them die on me. The buds themselves are stated to last 5.5 hours with noise canceling on, which I think adds up pretty well. I don't think I ever wore them for more than 2 to 3 hours at a time, but rest assured, even if they were to die in the middle of your 12-hour flight, the case provides an additional 24 hours of battery, and if that's not enough, the case itself claims to get 10 hours of battery, with noise canceling off, in 10 minutes of charging via USB-C. Now, most of you won't use them with noise canceling off, so I'd say it's closer to 5 hours of battery with 10 minutes of charging, which, to be honest, is pretty solid. You could literally be the most unprepared traveler and still get a solid full flight of ANC with a quick 10-minute charge at home, 15 minutes before you have to leave for the airport. And to be honest, that's kind of ideal, right? I feel like earbuds like these are best when you can charge them once a month and forget about them, knowing anytime you need them, they're just ready to go. And if they're not, 10 minutes of charging will hold you over long enough until you can charge them fully. Speaking of, at the time of writing this, my case is still at 40% battery after a month of use. Crazy. TLDR, battery performance was solid and comparable to something like AirPods Pro. Now, what about sound quality? Surely for $99, they can't be that good, right? Well, actually, they're really good. Maybe not quite as good as my AirPods Pro, but damn close. They're really solid sounding headphones at this price point. Like I mentioned, I mostly listen to electronic music, so one of the first things I listen for is very pronounced bass. All I'll say is, if you like big, heavy bass hitting sound, the Ear A got you covered. And then some. These might be the first headphones I had to dial back the bass on a bit. Now, I can't speak for other kinds of music, but if you listen to anything bass heavy, you'll be happy. I did listen to some alternative and rock, and while it maybe wasn't as clear or balanced, I still found it totally fine. And again, if you're unhappy with the sound, just pop open the app and adjust them. Something I wish you could do on the AirPods. Along with sound, ear fitment was also really good. Sadly, my right ear is slightly different than my left, meaning most, if not all, earbuds like these always seem to fit differently for each ear. And while I think the Ear A fit better than the AirPods, I still ran into the issue of my right ear not feeling or sounding the same as my left, but it's hard for me to discredit the Ear A for that, as it's something I experience on all earbuds. Generally speaking, the tips that came on the Ear A out of the box were perfectly fine for me, although they do include a couple other sizes in the box. They were comfortable and stayed in my ears better than most other earbuds. I found myself needing to adjust them less than any other earbuds, making them easier and more enjoyable to wear for longer periods or while working out, which I should mention, the Ear A is water resistant up to IP54 for the buds, meaning they're safe for working out or wearing out in like a light rain, but I wouldn't recommend pushing them too far as the case is only IPX2, meaning anything more than a light dribble likely will cause problems, and dust certainly will be an issue if you're not careful and keep the case open or just don't keep your earbuds clean. I guess now is a good time to clean your earbuds, because I bet you haven't thought about that in months. You nasty. Additionally, call quality was fine. Nothing to write home about, but not bad either. It'll get the job done, but probably not quite as good as the superior call quality on something like AirPods. Overall, pretty great so far, right? Well, that's sort of where things begin to flatten out. While the Ear A were overall very impressive, where they began to fall short was in their active noise canceling. This is where the $99 really starts to show, and that's not a bad thing. But it is something worth noting if ANC is really important to you. While nothing claims that the Ear A can block out up to 45 decibels of noise, the performance was a bit all over for me. Transparency mode did improve clarity compared to off, but you could easily tell you were listening to amplified ambient noise as opposed to something like AirPods that had a more natural transparency feeling. Turning on noise canceling then introduced a strange hissing sound, and not the normal white noise sound or feeling you get when you normally use ANC, but a more distinct hissing sound. Enough to where it's noticeable when nothing is playing, so needless to say, these won't be good for just cutting out noise on an airplane with no music playing. you'll definitely want to have something playing, or else the hissing sound just might drive you nuts. Now, there have been a few firmware updates to address some of the inconsistencies with ANC, but generally speaking, I found the ANC to be a bit of a low point for the Ear A. And while there are 4 distinct levels of ANC, I found them all to be pretty much all over the place and generally just inconsistent. Sometimes I felt like the mid setting blocked out more noise than the high setting and had less of the hissing sound, while adaptive didn't really seem to be nearly as adaptive as I would have expected. I'd almost prefer nothing just give us an on or off here instead of trying to spread it across 4 settings. That being said, it was far from bad, but it certainly was a reminder that these headphones are only $99. So I guess that then begs the question, are the Nothing Ear A the new value king for wireless earbuds? Well, I think to some extent, they absolutely are. If bang for your buck sound quality is all you care about, then the Ear A is a no-brainer. They're easy to use, pair seamlessly, even with iPhone, and come with a ton of the same features as AirPods at under half the price. However, if you're looking for quality ANC and more premium features like wireless charging, better audio codecs for lossless listening, then I'd recommend maybe checking out the Ear by Nothing, which are a new and improved flagship model with more premium features like the ones mentioned above. But again, if pure sound quality per dollar is what you want, then the Ear A is definitely for you. I could easily recommend these for anyone looking for a great AirPods Pro alternative that does most of the same things just as well at a price that honestly makes them hard to pass up. But that's gonna be it for this one. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to hit the like button, and as always, make sure to subscribe to see more content like this. You can follow me on X, TikTok, and Instagram at xxiv_concept. That's 24 concept, learn your Roman numerals. All right, I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.